Hey everybody, my name is Marcel Ernie with Ernie Racing News and now the Canadian Journalist YouTube channel. We're continuing an update for E4701, the democratic process on ourcommons.ca, the House of Commons petition initiated by Melissa Outwater from Peterborough, Ontario. And so the petition to the House of Commons says the current government elected is not acting in the best interest of all citizens. We, the citizens of Canada, have lost confidence in Justin Trudeau and the Liberal NDP coalition. We call on the House for a vote of no confidence. We ask for an election 45 days after the vote if won. And this petition closes on December 24th, 2023. So if you haven't gone, the link will be in the description. But we're going to give an update on the amount of votes that just happened from my story on yesterday to today. And as of doing this segment right now, it's 12:29 p.m. on December 16th. There is 335,303 signatures. So it is just going up and up every day. But we're going to break that down into some categories that I didn't do last time. So yesterday, my vote of non-confidence for the Trudeau coalition on December 15th, I did it by the population per province in relation to the votes for non-confidence petition. I made the mistake. I should be doing it to the electoral population, which is much different than the actual population of all the kids and people who actually can't vote. And then I've also included not just the electoral population, but break it down to who voted in the last 2019 general election of all ages. So actual votes cast versus the electoral population compared to the percentages, how many people are signed the petition. And we can break it down in all those percentages. So I'm going to cut over to screen sharing and we'll look at the numbers together. Thanks for watching, guys. This is pretty cool. Let's get out there and show what Canada thinks of Trudeau and his totalitarian regime. Okay, so here is the numbers in front of everybody with my mathematics. So in the beginning of Alberta, yesterday there was 77,857 votes. And now today, when I wrote this down at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on December 16th, it's up to 79,960, an increase of 2,103 for Alberta alone. Now, then we compare that. Yesterday I compared it to over here, 4,000,000.6 to the population of Alberta. But now we're going to compare it to the electoral population, so the people who are legally allowed to vote, and then we'll also the people who voted in the last 2019 election in purple here. So that's 2.62% of Alberta have signed the petition of the electoral population. And that is 3.82% have signed the petition who voted in the 2019 election. And this makes Alberta number one out of all the provinces for signing the petition. Number two on the list here is British Columbia. So yesterday it was 51,908 and now it's 53,480, an increase of 1,572. And so the percentage of electoral population is 1.46% and 2.23% of the who voted in the election, votes cast. And you can find all this information at elections.ca. And so BC is number 4 on the most signed for the petition. Next in order is Manitoba. It was at 12,087 and now it's 12,545, an increase of 367. 1.22% of the electoral population, or 2.09% of the voted population, and number 5 on our order. Then New Brunswick was 6318 and now it's 65, an increase of 184, which is 1.06%, or 1.46% of the people who voted, number 8 on the list. Newfoundland and Labrador is now increased by 101 to 3,376, which is 0.8%, or 1.38% of the voting population, of the voters, at number 9. And Northwest Territories, it increased by 320 overnight, or 0.98% of the electoral population, or 1.97% of the voting population in the last election. At number 7, Nova Scotia. It was 8505 and now it's 8776, an increase of 271. 1.16% of the electoral population has signed the petition, or 1.63% of the voters in the last election signed the petition. Number 6 in order. None of it. It increased from 92 to 100 by 8, which is 0.42%, or 1.05%. So relatively low, at number 11 on the list of provinces who joined the petition by percentage factor to the voted population. Now over to Ontario was 130,000 out of the 15.2 million people, while the electoral population is 10.4 million and the voted population is 6.947. So an increase of 3,584 people signed the petition overnight, and overall that's 1.28% of the electoral population and 1.94% of the voting population at number 6. So Ontario is doing pretty good. PEI, it increased by 31 at 1.04% electoral population and 1.3% of the voting population who voted. Number 10. Now Quebec. Last time there was 16,186 and now it's 16,857, an increase of 671 overnight, or 0.26% of the electoral population. That's the lowest number on the list, or 0.39% compared to who voted in the last election at number 12 on the provinces. So yeah, Quebec is not involved. And it's a big difference between 0.39 to the next one, which was number 11, the none of it was 1.05, or the Prince Edward Island, which was number 10 at 1.37. So it's actually less than half than that's number 11, and almost a third of the next one, PEI. So Quebec is just completely separated in this terms of like joining the petition, lack of information. A lot of people would comment on, of course, due to the language issue. Also, they just love Trudeau. They just don't. A lot of people love Trudeau out there. They love a false image of propaganda. Actually, let's call it that. Saskatchewan gained a 381 and 1.9%, or 2.66% of the voted population at number 2. So Saskatchewan's number 2 behind Alberta. And then finally the Yukon, it increased by 17 last night at 1.75%, or 2.53% of the voted population at number 3. So yeah, guys, number 1, Alberta with 3.822%. Number 2 was Saskatchewan with 2.66. Number 3 is the Yukon, 2.53. Number 4, where is that? Is British Columbia, where I reside, 2.23% of the voting population from the last election joined the petition. And number 5 was Manitoba. And number 6 was Nova Scotia. Number 7 was Northwest Territories. Number 8 was New Brunswick. And where is number 9? Number 9. Oh, maybe I'm missing number 9. Period. Oh, there's Newfoundland and Labrador. Number 10, Prince Edward Island. And of course, number 11 is hiding somewhere. None of it. And then Quebec, dragging at the bottom of Canada here, unfortunately. So we need to get everybody in Quebec to learn about this petition, and so please share it to your Quebec neighbors, friends, family, anybody you can on the forums. Let's show the population of Canada that doesn't like what's going on. Again, 335,303 signatures, and let's update that. 396 signatures since I just refreshed this at the beginning of this video. And again, to remind you what's going on, the policies of this government aren't aligning with the crisis Canada is facing. Housing costs, infringement of civil liberties, which I've documented plenty of, the highest inflation in history, food, everything is costing a third to half to double what it used to cost. Like a truck camper values went up from 50 grand to 95 grand for a new camper. Coming down just slightly right now because nobody can afford anything, so they have to lower the price back down to retail, not as opposed to above retail. an unbalanced immigration policies. We remember everyone just coming across into Quebec from the States. The U.S. was busing people from New York to the border, and then they would cross into Canada, not through the regular immigration policies, but just millions of people walking across the border and just coming on over and then filling hotels with taxpayers' money. And yet people who are Canadian actually can't pay their rent and soon can't pay their mortgages. Taxation to the point of poverty. Taxes on this, taxes on that. We're literally paying 80% of our total income on taxes, not just your income tax, not just purchasing tax, not just taxes on taxes, taxes on fuel. It all, just everything you buy, everything you do, everything you sell, you're taxed. And it adds up to nearly 80% of your total income is gone to taxes. And all that tax is going to Ukraine. It's all going to lining the pockets of terrible politicians, funding wars, funding the military-industrial complex, funding the COVIDism, etc., taken away, and paying $200,000 to try to convict David Lindsay of assault when all he did was brush up against people who were blocking his way to enter the interior health of public building, which is a charter violation altogether, but the judge doesn't care. The judge doesn't want to talk about that. The judge just sees a video of him brushing up against other people who are leaning in towards him as well. And this is what's the problem with Canada. Yet I have druggy thieves trying to steal my generator twice this year. Another druggie high on fentanyl stole my sandals. Another one cut my dirt bike straps and tried to steal the dirt bike straps. And then one before that stole my flashlight. In the last year and a half, I've had 5 thefts or attempted thefts. But these people, when you take them to jail, they actually let them go and then give them their drugs back. And we all know just in BC and Vancouver, how the giving them free drugs, which then bring the market price down of drugs, which are resold to now high schoolers, and everybody's getting the drugs from the druggers. I mean, around in circles it goes. It's not helping anything. It's all been proven that this is worse, but they keep going on this program. And, along with the MAID, let's continue to let Canadians die or kill themselves. So based on the past 8 years of this Prime Minister, Canadians do not have confidence in this Prime Minister after 5 ethics investigations and Canada's reputation for being tarnished on a global scale under his leadership, to the extent that Canada is being discluded from participation in the global geopolitics. So you get on here, it's closed at December 24th, so you have 8 days left to do this. And when you put your information in your email, then your email will send a verification. Click the verification to join the petition. Let's show Canada that we have 1 million people who signed a petition. And this isn't like a normal election. It's not like it's advertised like an election where everybody knows and sort of trusts to go and do it. Most people don't trust these petitions, or they think they don't do anything. And sometimes they don't. But if we can show that there's millions of Canadians, or imagine 10% of the population sign something that is just this optional thing floating around in social media. If it was a real election, it wouldn't be 10%, it would be 50%. Ernie Racing, Canadian journalist. Cheers, guys.